All right, how's it going, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Forward Thinking Founders, where we talk to founders about their companies, their visions for the future, and how the two collide. Today, I'm very excited to be talking to Ivan Sun, who's the founder of ARQ Smart Luxury. Welcome to the show. How's it going?
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Excited to be
Yeah,
here.
excited to have you on the podcast. Looking forward to learning more about what you are working on. For people that haven't heard of your company, what are you working on? What is ARQ Smart Luxury?
Yeah. So we actually build NFC chips that can be implanted into any jewelry or other luxury products. And this allows you to interact with your jewelry in a digital fashion. So actually, before the meeting, I actually programmed one of our pieces here, just to actually tap it, just use by tapping to your phone, and it brings up a link. And it actually this one was programmed to go to your podcast. So lots of different uses that we have with this, and yeah, basically kind of set out to create a way for our jewelry, all these luxury items that we buy, which are completely offline, to be able to use them and interact with have them interact with the Internet of Things. So there's a lot of different use cases there, and I'm sure we can dive into it.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think going back, or I guess in other words, we could also take a step forward. Help us understand, like, what is the technology here? Like, what is NFC? What does that mean? I mean, I'm
Yeah,
familiar, but not everyone listening is. So, kind of, what's going on with that? What is that?
totally. Yeah, it stands for near field communication chip. And basically it's a way for, there's a tiny radio antenna and a tiny microchip on the actual piece itself. And what that does is actually you can use it for a number of different things. I mean, the most common use is what you see on your credit card when you scan or tap your credit card or something like that. But it's a relatively new technology, and it's for the consumer space, and there's so many applications of it. We've obviously seen it again in payment systems and things like that. It's a way to actually verify that something is physical and that you own it and that you possess it. You can pay for things with logging in with a PayPal account or a Venmo and sending money and stuff that way. But there's really something about owning a physical token that you can instantly authenticate your ownership of something. And again, we see it in credit cards and other, like wristbands at a concert maybe. But right now, there's no use of this really in the luxury space. There's little pockets here and there, and we really want to create a solution for both our own brand and to be able to provide this technology to other luxury brands, because most jewelers are not tech companies, and there's a lot of problems with the jewelry industry, like authentication. There's knockoffs that are like exploding. Counterfeit market is $15 billion last year of counterfeit products. So if you're a brand owner or an artist, you want to protect that as much as possible. And then the actual, like the if your piece is stolen too, what can you do? Oh, my necklace got stolen, or my watch got stolen. I had a friend lose a Rolex recently, and this technology will actually allows you to, just like you would with a smartphone, you could mark your necklace stolen, and then next time someone scans it or taps their phone to it, say this is stolen. So it actually destroys the resale value of those as well. So those are just a couple of utilities.
Super smart. It's a great example of taking a newer technology and applying it to something that's already, mass understood jewelry. It's huge,
Mhm.
right? So super cool. But it kind of leads me to wonder, like, how'd you come up with the idea? Like, is this something you woke up one day and you're like, oh, boom, like I'm doing this? Or like, help me understand how you got to this idea, the origin story.
Yeah, totally. It's actually funny. There's so many uses of it, and every time we work with a new partner or a new collaborator, people come up with, oh my God, I could use it to do this or this thing. So it's constantly actually, we're adding utilities and integrations to this technology, which is really exciting. Originally, so my background is in as a product designer, and I worked at companies like HubSpot and some of their fintech companies. While I was in the fintech space, I started getting a kind of financial education that I had never had. I didn't really know about investing or anything like that. And I kind of, one of the first things you learn that's so important is the difference between appreciating assets things like real estate and stocks and things like that, and then depreciating assets, things that like the biggest thing we always talk about is the car. You buy the car and it immediately plummets in value. So learning about that just kind of started looking at my life differently and trying to minimize all the things that I was buying that consumers buy, and things that the media and everything tells us, you want this diamond necklace, you need this, you need that, but those are all depreciating assets. There's almost no advertising for appreciating assets. So yeah, kind of learning about the difference. But especially in the jewelry space, jewelry really depreciates instantly. And I actually had a little bit of a lightning bolt moment. I was in the gym and a diamond engagement ring commercial came on, and I was like, why would you spend so much money to give something to someone so important to you? That's like a diamond ring is actually a depreciating asset. So the minute you buy it, if it's a $20,000 diamond ring, you could try to resell it at the store next door for only $10,000. So I was like, there must be a better way to do this. And then just knowing, kind of being a nerd in the tech space, knowing about NFC, I was like, hey, we could actually digitize a lot of the jewelry and luxury market. Maybe there is a new asset class that we could create of actual physical items that have like luxury items that we still want to wear, that we still covet, but at the same time we can invest and build our wealth and have other utilities simultaneously.
Super smart insight. I love that. And it leads me to wonder, like, where do you see this going? And I don't know, if you were to look out 5, 10, 15 years, what do you see as the big picture, the big vision here?
Yeah, totally. I think there's a couple layers to that. I think number one, there's this kind of inevitability of the Internet of Things and digitization of everything is kind of it's has too much momentum to stop. And so we see chips, and as chips get smaller and get more compressed of like the size of computers and sensors, they're going into more things. You can't, like, you look around your room, your desk, there's so many things that have that stuff. And even shopping experiences, every food packaging is going to start having these tiny chips on them, just so you can shop faster and they can manage their supply lines quicker. So not excluding that is things like clothing and luxury items as well. So if you're like $3 gallon of milk has a microchip on it, why would your Rolex that is $20,000 not have a microchip on it? So you kind of see it, just in my mind, kind of this inevitability. Oh my God, these items will be chipped and join the digital space. And then alongside that, why stop it? I think there are other companies that saying, oh, we can put QR codes on our this or that to prove that it's authentic. And authenticating is a huge part of this, but there's so much more you can do with it. Like right now, we're actually working with a rapper that we're going to announce in the next month or two, and he's putting the first ever album drop on a line of jewelry. So he's dropping like 20 different necklaces. And if you want to listen to his new songs, you're going to have to buy the necklaces, and you can own that. It's both like a keepsake, but it also has this real world utility. And he's going to continue to drop other things like concert tickets and other really interesting things to that. So it becomes kind of, by owning that physical token, you also get access to a specific group and utilities and really interesting things. I don't know if you're familiar with the Wu-Tang album that they released, I don't know, probably like 6 years ago at this point, but they made one album on Earth and you had to buy it. And Martin Shkreli bought it at one point. I don't know if it's still around, but that was a strange thing. People like, wait, this is so strange, but also people coveted it and like wanted to spend millions of dollars just for that one album. So that's kind of where we see this going, is really this melding between these really interesting digital utilities and luxury goods. Because it's like our whole methodology is like, have your cake and eat it too, or we say have your cake and wear it too. You shouldn't have to choose between one thing or another, so you can kind of have these experiences, grow your wealth, and wear what you want all in one piece.
I think it's great. And it's not the same as, I mean, I don't know, maybe you would have a different opinion, but it doesn't appear to me as the same as like blockchain, Web3, but it kind of like rhymes with it. There's a little synergy, which I like. It takes, I think, the best parts of that ecosystem, the most utility parts, and makes it real, which I think is super gnarly. In order to make that vision happen, though, like you'll need some help, right? It takes a village to build out, we know what you're doing. So my question for you is, how can the forward thinking founders community help? Are you hiring? Are you raising money? Are you looking for people to partner with, customers? Like, how can we assist?
Yeah, there's actually kind of a good mix of things there. Yeah, I think number one, definitely looking for partners where the cool thing is there's so many applications for this, even beyond things like jewelry. We actually just did work with a really talented artist called Hans Uder, and he does these beautiful sculptures with like painted and collage stuff. And he was in Art Basel and New York Fashion Week, and we put the chips in his statues so people could authenticate and initiate these AR experiences. So there's a lot of different partners that we love talking to people. If people want to, that's what we really are about. We will be selling these directly to consumers, and we actually just opened our pre-sale website. But like more so, we want to provide this to artists, jewelers, and other kind of startup founders. Even it works great for we're working with some startup, two different startups to do affiliate programs. So their salespeople can wear these, or affiliates can wear these as an official ambassador and tap them to someone's phone and get paid out instantly. So there's a lot of cool applications. So number one, definitely seeking more partners. And then yeah, we did an angel round of last winter, and we're just about to open our seed round. So we are also kicking off some more investment. And then again, any folks that yeah have think that they could add value to what we're doing. We are a super small team, and so yeah, I was looking for more collaborators. Any people are interested.
And then if anyone's interested in collaborating, where can they find you online? Do you have a website, a social media presence, or an email address, something like that?
Yeah, you can go to arqx.io, and there's a contact form at the bottom of that.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming onto the podcast. I really appreciate it.
Yes, thanks so much.